Ms. Walker, you claim that your near-death experience has made your desire to determine your biological father more important than ever.
Yes, Your Honor.
After believing one man was your father, you learned about another possibility, Bruce Simmons.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you'll meet him for the first time in a minute, but you say you must first prove to his doubtful wife that he is your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, okay, Ms. Simmons, you contend that there's absolutely no way your husband is Ms. Walker's biological father.
No way.
You argue Ms. Walker needs to let go of this fantasy and move on to another candidate.
Yes.
Ms. Simmons, please share your doubts.
We've been together since we were 15. We just got married 2003. I have 2 biological kids. We never made any. I believe my husband is sterile. I believe he can't make no kids. If we've been together that long and we ain't make none together, what makes somebody just pop up and say, oh, you the father?
And so the 2 children you have
Are not his.
are not his.
No.
So you know you're capable of having
Yes.
children, but don't believe he is.
Yes.
So, Ms. Walker, so why do you believe he's your biological father?
Your Honor, I went on this search, and I didn't particularly just go out and just pick this random guy. In the beginning, I was also told that there was another man that was on my birth certificate, and I was told that was my father.
So what made you exclude the man that's on your birth certificate?
I excluded him because I had, as you know, I had a near-death experience. I was going for a congestive heart failure, and I had to have a lung biopsy. And in order to have this lung biopsy, they said that I can reach out to my family, and before they went for donor blood, reach out to my family and ask if they would go and donate blood. So I called my dad that I was told that was and asked him to go and asked his family all to go down and give blood so I wouldn't have to have donor blood. So after everything was said and done, the doctors comes into me and told me, the guy that you were thinking that's your father, and this is not something that's supposed to be told to you, but there's no possible way. We wasn't able to use his blood. We had to use donor blood.
And so how did you connect to the name Bruce Simmons?
Okay, my mother had to go to Jersey where I resided when I was a child. And his sister reached out to my mom in the middle of the road, stopped her, hey, I've been looking for my niece. And my mom came back to Florida. My mom came back to Florida and was like, hey, listen, let me tell you something. I think I might have a possibility of whose your dad is. So I'm like, okay, go ahead, give her my number. They gave me my number. She reached out to me. She was like, well, we knew about you since you were a baby. Your mom had you around, and then all of a sudden, she went off.
And this is Bruce Simmons' sister.
Yes.
And that's just not how it happened.
Talking to you.
Yes.
All right. So, Miss Simmons, you say that's not how it happened.
No, it's not how
Were
it
you
happened.
there?
No, I wasn't.
Well, how did it happen?
Because the sister called him and said, Bruce, I met so-and-so. She asked me for your number. She believed you are her daughter's father. So I said, first of all, your sister should have called you first for permission to give out your number. You have a wife. I believe that's disrespectful to me. Come, ask me first, is it okay? Okay, now he's talking to her on the phone. Oh, call this one. Why is you giving out your family numbers to people that you don't even sure that's your daughter yet?
What's it to you?
It's a lot to me. That's my husband.
But I'm not asking y'all for nothing. I don't want nothing. I just want to know who
I understand
where
that,
I
but
belong. No, you don't.
You building somebody.
No, I don't.
His spirit up.
All right, Miss Simmons, with all due respect, I have to ask you, are you upset that she made contact, or are you upset that your husband may be her biological father?
No, none of that. None of that, because he wants to be a father.
Hold on. You say none of that.
None of that. I'm not upset.
So what are you upset for? Because this cannot be your conversation.
He reached out to me. He reached out to me. I didn't contact him.
I never heard of her mother, never heard of her.
Okay, hold on. So your anger stems from you just felt like in this equation, they left you out.
Exactly. And I was upset for the way the sister went about it. Like I said.
So you felt like his sister overstepped her bounds?
Yes.
All right.
Exactly.
So, Ms. Walker, when you first connected with Mr. Simmons, what happened?
Well, I get this message of, hi, Parthenia, my name is Bruce Simmons and I'm your father. Call me back. And I was just stunned. So I played it for my boss, I played it for my mom, I played it for my husband when I got home, I played it for my kids. I called everybody and I just kept playing this message because just to have that little bit of hope of where you belong, it means a whole lot.
And so,
it means a lot.
Ms. Walker, even though you got that message, you have never met Mr. Simmons.
Never.
No.
Now,
To this
I've
day.
seen his sister. I've lived in the same town. You know, he's seen me, from my understanding of what he said, he's seen me as a baby. When I was brought around as a baby, him and my mother were in a relationship, I guess on a breakup here, as well as
He
in
said
a
it was
relationship.
it was never a relationship.
As well as a relationship. That's your say. I'm not
No,
worried about
that's what he said. It came from
So,
his
Ms.
mouth.
Walker, did Mr. Simmons tell you he believed that he's your father?
Yes, ma'am, he
He
did.
didn't.
He did. Jerome, I think it's time we meet Mr.
Yeah,
Simmons.
please bring him in. Please.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
Hello. Can I give you a hug? Your Honor.
Mr. Simmons,
How are
welcome.
you?
Thank you for joining us here today.
Yes.
So we are discussing the paternity as it relates to Ms. Walker. Now, she says that you contacted her and said you believe you're her biological father.
Yes. This,
Now, take me back.
well,
Tell me about the relationship with her mother.
when me and her mother got together, I was trying to get her sister, her mother's sister. That's how it really started out. And
Okay.
when what had happened, her mother pushed up and said that I'm going to make you my man because her sister wasn't that into me at that time. And we was like, you know, courting each other. They called it courting back then. And we made plans to spend that weekend together.
Okay.
So we spent that weekend together, and then after that, we lost touch with each other because
Like
I
I
mean,
said,
she
no
just
relationship,
turned
just the
around
weekend.
and she upped and left.
Okay. So when you say you spent the weekend together,
Yeah.
let's be clear, you were intimate with her.
Intimate with for 2 days, yes.
No protection
No
used.
protection, no nothing.
But was in a relationship before that, because he just
I
said
said
that
we
they
were-
were in.
Well, Ms. Walker,
friends.
yes, we understand that it was not a one-night drunken booty call as Ms. Simmons
it wasn't.
suggested.
That's all I
He
want.
he said
Thank you.
three
It
days
was,
a week
in
and they
fact-
spend the weekend together.
Well, your husband
That's not a
already testified.
relationship.
They
A
courted
weekend
each
is not a
other.
relationship.
Courtship.
They
That's a
courted each
relationship.
other.
That's not no relationship.
They courted each other. They spent a weekend together.
Sound like you need a dictionary.
And then your mother left for whatever reason.
Yes, Your Honor.
Bottom line is, when she left, did you ever find out or know she was pregnant?
No, I did not. When I found out that she was pregnant, she had the child, was when she come walking around the corner and she would had a baby in a stroller. Because I didn't know until she walked up on the porch and said, okay, this is your child. And she gave me a picture. And immediately I went upstairs and I showed the picture to my father. And I said, did she have any resemblance to the family? And to him, he turned around and said, you better have a test. This is what my father said. At that time, when I came back downstairs, she was having a dispute with the other lady that I was involved with, and she left. So here it is now, we come 26 years later down the line, and
And
the
she's
call-
having
yeah.
another dispute
No, she called
with
me
somebody
again.
you're involved with.
Yeah.
It's interesting how history repeats itself.
Yeah.
When his potential daughter was right before his very eyes, her mother got into a dispute with the woman that he was with.
Yeah.
And now his potential daughter is right before his very eyes again, but she's in a dispute with the woman that he's with. Do you believe you're sterile as your
I
wife?
believe I'm sterile. Now, my wife says so. Now, me and that's her, and I don't know practically nothing. I've learned from a doctor, he said that my sperm system was weak. It didn't say that I was sterile. You know what I'm saying? So for her to say that I was sterile, it wasn't God's intention for her to have any children by me. And I leave it at that point. And it was God's intention that her mother probably had the kid by me.
All right, so Ms. Walker, what are the other reasons outlined for the court What are the other reasons why you believe he's your father?
I have a lot of medical issues, as well as my children have the medical issues. All 6 of my children, excluding myself, has asthma. My mama don't have asthma, my grandma don't have asthma, my granddaddy don't have asthma, but I found out...
Mr. Simmons, do you have asthma?
I have asthma.
Okay.
And it runs in my family.
Can I say something?
My son has diabetes. He's 12 years old. My son has juvenile diabetes. On the men's side of their family runs diabetes.
Diabetes, yes.
The cancer, me and my daughters have a rare cancer cell that runs on their side of the family as well. So even if it's not him, somewhere in this long of line of right, I'm somewhere close to finding out.
That's one reason why I'm propelled to really find out, because there is a medical history in my family.
And so ultimately, whether or not she is your biological child, she's still a young woman with very real health issues, and a lot rides on the results we present here. We say all the time, there are no small claims in paternity court. However, in this situation, we can truly say that your life depends on these results.
I mean, I have no animosity and no illness towards her. I'm just like, I'm married myself, and if somebody was to come out and say, okay, this is a possibility that you might be my... Guess what? I'm not finna battle him. Let's find out. I'm not finna have no ill will about with the woman. I'm not finna have no ill will with the child, because at the end of the day, I'm the innocent one, because whatever she has animosity, that's what my mama and him. Because guess what? Y'all weren't together.
My point is, it should have been done. I've been telling him, get a blood test. Stop signing on the dotted line. Stop claiming kids unless you know they're yours.
But what is she worried about to you? You got 2 kids that's not his, and he do for them.
They mine, though. They mine, though. They mine, and he raised them. They mine. He raised them from birth. They mine, though. I know who my kids are.
The whole thing busts down to one.
Let's bring it down a notch.
Yes.
When he first reached out and called me, Your Honor, when he first reached out and called me, we were talking good. He called me once a week. And this is not no 8, 9. These are 10, 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning phone calls, because he's hiding from his wife.
But this is just ridiculous. You all are acting like you all are 2 women he's involved with intimately. This is a young woman. What I am observing is a level of animosity, Jerome, that we see with 2 women that are involved in the same man sexually, not involved with the same man because he's your husband. She can't take that away, but he potentially might be her biological father, which you can't take away.
We don't have to sneak and talk to anybody on the phone. Why is he sneaking?
Because
ask him.
Because you
ask him.
Every time I come out the room, he's on the phone. He's talking real low. I do ask him. I do ask him.
Why are you sneaking, sir?
My reasons for sneaking is because I suffer from a low self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want no conflict. I feel just scared because I don't want to be...
You don't want to hurt either person.
Yeah, I don't.
And so what you do is you avoid the conflict.
How you a man, but you got to bow down to a woman? It's not... I'm married.
It don't have nothing to do with bowing down.
How can he find out?
Let's get some
My point is be
order.
respectful.
Let's get some order.
Yes.
I'm really, really trying to figure out, Ms. Simmons, why there is so much anger and animosity. Because I don't think anybody's after you or after your life. And look, even if you believe the process wasn't the right way, when you look at a beautiful young woman that has, no, let me finish a sentence, because see, I'm not your husband. I got to finish a sentence.
Yeah, I know you
So let me explain this to you. It's just an innocent young woman that doesn't know who her father is. And if it is your husband or not your husband, it doesn't take anything away from you to be kind and open to it, even if you feel like...
But you're not letting me say why I feel the way I feel, though.
But I get... Ma'am, I asked you before why the anger, and you said it was about the process that they didn't go about it right. No, I don't want to get into it a lot. I just want you,
and stuff.
But I want you to understand.
She already didn't like me from the beginning because I'm saying something to him.
Because of what you put up on a Facebook?
Ma'am, we're not going to argue about the Facebook. I'm just saying to you, you're a woman that's lived a lot of life. And this is a young woman that hopes to live the long life you have. And part of the way that she can do that is to figure out her history. And look, I'm a woman of a certain age myself. I'm just saying to you directly, it serves you no good to in any way argue about this. Just support your husband. I'm ready for the results, and I'm hoping during that process, whatever it is, respect the fact that she needs and deserves to know. Jerome, the envelope. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Walker v. Simmons, when it comes to 30-year-old Parthenia Walker, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Bruce Simmons, you are not her father.
I'm sorry. I wish to put it better, but
It's okay.
it's whatever God has it.
Miss Walker, I'm sorry this was not the answer you wanted.
okay.
I know you're looking for closure for more reasons than just the spiritual, emotional closure. You need the medical information.
Yes.
And for that reason and more, I am encouraging you to continue your search. Mr. Simmons, I appreciate you being open with this young girl. And Miss Simmons, despite the anger I saw you express, when the results came down, you just took a beat and just gave her a moment to process it. And I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Because ultimately, this is a really serious situation.
Yes, it is.
And I want you to find your biological father,
I'm
okay?
gonna find him. I'm determined.
I know you are. I wish you all the very best of luck. Court is adjourned.
Ms. Mora, you opened your case to prove that the defendant, Mr. Platt, is your 3-year-old daughter, Anaya's biological father, in hopes that he will acknowledge her and finally sign her birth certificate. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Platt, you say you refuse to be legally responsible for a child you seriously doubt is yours. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Mora, explain why having Mr. Platt on your daughter's birth certificate is so important to you.
Okay, Your Honor. It's important to me, you know what I'm saying? My daughter deserves to have her father on her birth certificate. You know what I'm saying? I've come from a broken family. My dad was never in my life. He's not on my birth certificate either. And my daughter deserves the best, you know what I'm saying? And this is why I'm here today, because I'm gonna make sure that his name is gonna be on that birth certificate.
Because you have no doubt he is the biological
There's no doubt
father.
in my mind, Your Honor.
But you do have doubt, Mr. Platt.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
Before we even met, like, she was living with somebody else at the time.
So when you met her and you all started talking, she was living with somebody else?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, come on.
Yes,
let's,
she was-
let's state the
She-
facts. So how did
Oh, that's
how
right,
did
I
your
met her one
relationship
time.
begin?
We met on a little website, you know what I'm saying? I was with my ex. I explained to Mr. Platt that I was with him, I lived with him. He was like, okay, cool, like we're gonna talk, whatever. He agreed to it, you know what I'm saying? And we ended up meeting up. We went for a walk in the park, you know what I'm saying? And from there, we ended up going like maybe every weekend or every other weekend, and it led from there.
And then you all started a relationship.
Yeah, after
You broke
maybe
up
like
with the
about a
other
month.
guy.
After about a month, yes. And I was
so
still
at
living
that
with him.
point, you moved out of the house with the other guy.
No, I was still living with him. I was still living with him.
And were you
When-
intimate with the other guy and Mr. Platt
Not
at
at
the
all.
same time?
Not at all. Not at all.
Because we get a lot of people that come into this courtroom and say they were broken up, so they couldn't get pregnant
That's
because they
why
were
I don't
broken
know.
up.
That's why I have the doubt, you know what I mean?
And
Because
that's-
she would
and I
always go back
understand
and
that.
forth, and then
You kept going back and forth between the two men,
Right.
Mr. Platt and then the ex,
Right.
back and forth.
Correct, Your Honor.
Some point you realize you're pregnant. Are you living in the house with the other man when you realize you're pregnant?
Still, maybe for about like 2 weeks. And then once 2 weeks was up, I ended up moving in with my mom.
So you find out you're pregnant. When you find out you're pregnant, who do you tell?
I told him first, obviously, because I was living with him. And
What?
I took
See, that's what I
took
mean.
the
It doesn't
test
make
that-
sense.
But were
I
you
took the
having
test that
sex
could
with
help.
him?
No, not at all.
she was still in love with that dude, obviously, but she was just kind of like go back and forth.
So when she told you she was pregnant, what was your response?
Well, I was shocked and, you know, stunned at
How
the
did
same
she
time.
tell you?
Well, she just called me and was just like, well, I wanted to know that I'm pregnant after like early November.
It
And-
was late November, Your Honor. I mean, he was cool with it for maybe like at least like The first 3 months, he was cool with it, and he would come to my mom's house, and this is why I say, right after I found out, I ended up moving with my mom because he was there.
Mr. Platt was there.
Yes.
So, Mr. Platt, you were present during the pregnancy and the birth?
No, not the birth. No.
I was there for like the beginning of 3 months.
So now, why weren't you at the birth, Mr. Platt?
It's because that he was there. He was at the.
Who was?
He was present at the hospital.
He was.
You know what I mean? I wasn't
Your
trying to
ex
get all
came
that.
to the hospital when you had the
talked to
baby?
Mr. Platt. I talked to Mr. Platt the day before I had my daughter. He was thinking that it wasn't his baby. The other guy
always-
didn't
every
show up
time-
until 7 o'clock that night. He stayed the 3 days in the hospital with me. But he also knew that he was not the father. And he said right then and there, I don't care if I'm not her father, I'm still gonna be here for her. And still to this day, he is.
She's 3 years old?
Still to this day is.
Three.
See, I don't understand that she's saying still to this day he is, but she said that, oh, he's not supposed to have no ties to her.
Because, Your Honor, I don't
So
I don't
you've been
talk
lying
to
to
him.
me then.
No, he wasn't willing to step up and take that place. You know what I'm
I've
saying? So
been
another
stepping.
man did.
I stepped up for the past year and a half, and she's still letting the dude see him. Like, dude see her. That doesn't make any sense.
No,
and I've been doing rent and everything.
You
and
say for the
working.
past year and a half, well, she's 3. What happened to the first?
Because the first year and a half, I told you, like, I fell back. I fell back on that because, like, I'm not gonna deal with the drama.
What was the drama?
With me and the dude that she was with before. So it was like,
Why do you have friction with the other guy? Why are you all even in the same place at the same time?
because, I don't know, like, she would invite me over at the time, and then I would still go over there.
Wait a
mom
minute
would
now.
allow
This
him
is
to come in the house.
That's what I'm saying. They had-
this is
I
sounding
can't believe I was
ridiculous.
involved in my
Why are
that
we acting
situation.
like this guy is he's like a ghost just lurking around all the time? No, I mean, no, really. I mean, he's coming around for a reason. You all are entertaining him.
Yeah, that's why I'm sick and tired. Like, I didn't know that she was still doing that to this day. And she want to say dad to him and say stuff like that and then say it to me. Like, that hurts my feelings, you know?
What does she call daddy?
She
Like,
calls
like
Mr. Platt dad because the other guy was gonna have him and his family were throwing her a party, and I didn't know anything about this. I
Yeah.
found out about
The
this.
other
Yeah,
man
he was
and
with
his
him on the
family
whole
threw
day.
your daughter a birthday
They
party?
threw her a birthday party
Without you?
without me even knowing
Supposedly.
anything.
And she was with her the whole day.
No, I
She was with
wasn't.
him the
Your
whole
Honor,
day.
I was at work.
This don't even sound right.
She was with him the
I
whole
was
day.
at work, so how
and
was I
it's so
supposed to know?
confusing, and I don't, you know what I mean? That's where it
This
hurting.
doesn't sound right.
And then it happened again. Like,
It don't sound right because I'm telling him I was at work, so how was I supposed to know?
No.
Who does she
Numerous
think
times.
this other guy is? What does she
Exactly.
call
'Cause
him?
sometimes she calls me the dad, and then sometimes
She
she'll
calls
say,
him
like,
by
she-
his name, Your Honor.
Like she goes wishy-washy. Oh, no,
No.
but, oh, no, not, oh, she said that the
No.
other day.
The
After
other
went
day she
seen that,
did.
on Monday, she said that.
The other day
And
she
then-
did, Your Honor.
The other day, she called the other guy dad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was like, "My
and
dad
that's why
did this." I'm
I
like,
was
"What?"
freaking out.
At this point, she's probably confused.
No, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
yeah, I
she's
know
just
she's confused.
Right.
Yeah. And
How much time do you spend with her, Mr. Platt?
well, I work Monday through Friday.
Don't
but-
stutter now.
No, I'm not stuttering.
You've been talking.
I had
How
it
much
for a year and a
time
half.
do you spend with her?
Well, they've been staying with me basically off and on for a year and a half, and I spend all the time. I got her, like she wasn't working.
They've been living with you off and on for the year and a half.
Well, basically almost a year and a half, but I have, I've been stepping up, and I was getting her gifts and diapers and all that. I'm doing everything and my rent and everything else on top of that.
But at the same
Lights and
time,
everything on-
you would do your part. You would take care of her. Yes, I give it to you. You stepped up. But at the same time, every time you would get mad, you would deny her.
Because she would get mad at me because I couldn't discipline her. And like she still does it to this day, like, oh, well, don't be doing this,
Because
don't be
I
doing
feel
that.
like, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
my baby, and it's saying, it's
until he lets me
my.
prove to him that he's the father, I feel like he shouldn't discipline her. Why are you
So
gonna
you're
sit here and
saying
try
if
to
you
discipline
deny her, you
always
don't get
deny
to
her?
discipline her?
Yeah.
What is the problem with him being involved in her life as her father if you believe he is? What is that?
That's a good question, Your Honor. That's a good question.
This is unacceptable.
And I have pictures, sometimes in the beginning she would look like.
What are those pictures?
Oh, yeah, all of them.
Let me see all the pictures. What is this?
That's when she was, in the beginning, like I was doing a comparison, like she has my nose.
Step up to the monitor and describe what you are looking at.
She has my cheeks, but as far as in the eyes, like she has her eyes. And then the next picture, she's starting to change a little bit. Like she has my ears still, but her eyes looks like the other guy's eyes right here. They look slanted. And his eyes are like that. His eyes are like that. And then right there, it's like her eyes are changing again. So now it looks like my eyes again. And then her chin has her chin now. I'm like.
You just confused.
Yeah, I am confused.
Honestly, as my granny say, bless your heart.
Yeah, no, I feel ashamed.
Bless your heart. You just blowing up pictures, just trying to make something. Miss Mora, what is going on here? I mean, let's be honest. The man is doubtful because you've got this relationship that's just ongoing with this ex. And you know, and look, I'm gonna tell you something. That's that boomerang effect because you met her while she was in a relationship with somebody else.
Yes, I told her, I said a lot of it, well, it is, my fault. You know what I mean? She had hit me on the social media site, and then I just replied, and then I started going along with it, just thinking it wasn't gonna be like that because I wasn't even doing no settling down at that time, or wasn't trying to. And then.
Right, you with somebody else's girlfriend. Now you think somebody with her.
It wasn't even boyfriend and girlfriend, really. They was just living together. But basically,
But Your Honor, since day one, since I found out that I was pregnant, and even after I had her, not once have I ever told him, you're not the father. I've always told him, you're the father, and I'm telling you, and I know for a fact that you are. And
only when a few times
listen,
she get mad, she wouldn't say it.
Why is this guy still around? Why is this guy picking up this baby, throwing birthday parties for this child with their family? Whose family is invested in somebody else's child like this that has moved on with another man and had a baby?
That's what I've been
It just doesn't make any sense. And I am all for loving children. I'm big on a village, but this village is a little weird. He's confused. I can see it in his eyes. I mean, even this little smile he does is he's kind of laughing.
Your Honor, I know the other dude is not the father because we've had so many miscarriages. And our last miscarriage was right before Anaya. And I lost that baby when I was 5 months. I was already in the second trimester.
So you were sleeping with this other guy?
No. Well, before that.
So let me understand. In your court papers, what you stated and what you're stating now is when you were with the other guy and you were attempting to get pregnant, you could never... you would have a miscarriage.
Right, Your Honor.
And there were multiple miscarriages.
Yes.
So how many did you have?
7.
7.
7.
Oh my goodness. So this particular evidence is definitely interesting and intriguing. I want to learn more about it. So I've called upon an expert. I'd like to hear from Dr. Tosha Rogers. Jerome, can you please escort her into the courtroom? She's a medical expert and OBGYN from Atlanta Premier. I'd like to ask her a couple questions.
To the witness stand.
Okay.
Right next to the judge. Watch your step.
Okay.
Hello, doctor.
How are you?
Very well. Thank you so much for joining us
problem.
today. We are here discussing a paternity issue relating to beautiful Anaya, 3 years old. And as part of the testimony, our plaintiff, Ms. Mora, talked about in a previous relationship having suffered 7 miscarriages with her particular partner. Can a man's sperm, or is a man's sperm, or how does it play a role in miscarriage?
Okay. Yes, it can.
It can.
100%. Especially if we have early miscarriages. Early miscarriages are usually due to chromosomal abnormalities. If it's what we call like a fatal mix, then a miscarriage will ensue. So yes, it can. But if it's been 7 miscarriages, likely there would be a problem where Dad would have to get what we call karyotyping to take a look at his genetic breakdown to see what is happening with him.
So is it anything to do with the timing of the miscarriage? When did you miscarry?
For the first 6, I miscarried at 3 months. And this is why on the last one, on the 7th one, I thought, okay, I lasted up until 5 months. I'm gonna be able to carry this one. And after like a couple of months, or maybe like a couple of weeks after turning 5 months, I miscarried. I had to go to the emergency room. I was in so much pain. They had to do a DNC, and they told me that my daughter passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry. So, doctor, what I'm trying to get is a clear understanding of the difference of miscarrying in the first trimester very early on and the fact that she carried this baby almost to 5 months. how does that exclude this other gentleman as a possibility, or does it?
It cannot. It cannot
Okay.
exclude him as a possibility. We cannot say it was impossible unless we would know that there was a type of genetic disorder, unless dad had been evaluated, or what we do karyotype evaluation. So
Okay.
there's no 100% certainty to say that he can't be the father of the baby.
Okay. So after hearing this testimony, Mr. Platt, what do you think?
Like, I don't know the proof of how many miscarriages, you know? Like, I'm not saying I don't believe it, but I'm saying it still always can be a possibility, if, you know, if anything.
And this is why we're here today. And I'm gonna show him that I was telling him the truth the whole time.
All right, well, let's go to the results. Jerome? Thank you.
You're welcome.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Mora versus Platt, do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. When it comes to 3-year-old Anaya Mora, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Platt, you are the father.
I'm sorry.
You can stand together if you like.
I told you.
Sorry.
We've gone through so many arguments because he didn't think that she was his. And I would tell him every time, she's yours. And he just denied it.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. This beautiful little girl has not gotten the benefit of having the full love, attention, protection, dedication, support, presence of her father.
Now that name can go on that birth certificate. It's right here.
How do you feel in this moment, Mr. Platt? She's a beautiful little girl.
I feel relieved and more calm and more at ease.